One of the most influential pandemics of all time is the Black Death. This wiped out around 50% of Europe's population, and it had impacts from architecture to even improving women's lives, and of course, impact on peasant wages. The Black Death was going on at the same time of the Hundred Years' War, and you could argue the Black Death was beneficial for women. Some women got married a couple of times, and this meant that they got all their husband's property, money, and lands, and they became quite wealthy and played an important role in English society. But for lower class women, it also allowed them to enter the labour market as well, which led to women actually getting married a bit later. And then on top of that, for normal like peasants, this meant that wages grew as well because there wasn't as many people farming the land and to work on the land. And it meant that they could go to places where the farmland was more fertile, meaning they could get more crops. Of course, the aristocracy was worried about this in the Statute of Labourers, came in 1351, and this limited how much you could pay someone and prevented social mobility for the peasants. And this is sort of one of the reasons why the Peasants' Revolt in 1381 happened. Another big impact is architecture, which is not spoken about enough. British architecture becomes a lot more simpler and perpendicular, such as Winchester Cathedral, the stuff built in the late 14th century. And also it becomes less elaborate, and this is mainly due to a lack of skilled workers. And of course this means costs go up, and building these amazing cathedrals and just amazing buildings in general is expensive. Some of the upper class want to reassert their control after the Black Death, and one example was this was castle building and taking land from people who had lost their lives during the Black Death. And Bolton Castle, an example, built in 1378.